You are now listening to Beast Mode Mindsets with your host, Chrissy Renee.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be back with you guys tonight. It's another Wednesday. It's 9 o'clock, and so Beast Mode Mindsets is in full effect. We have a special guest with us tonight, which is also a dear friend of mine as well. His name is Mr. William Herbin. He's a father of three. He has a background of working with at-risk young males in the group home setting, and so we worked together before. So he was actually one of my team leaders. He was one of my management staff when I first came into the field, and so I'm glad to have him with us tonight. He's been working on so much and doing so many things, and so he's going to share with us tonight just his story and his testimony. Beast Mode Mindset is all about motivation. It's all about mindsets of faith. And so sometimes we have to go there. We have to be able to share our story and tell where we came from, where we're at now, but where also we're trying to go. Not just because we're perfect, but also because it helps the next person. And so, Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy day. I'm not gonna lie. We are on Wednesday, the middle day of the week. It's the last Wednesday of the month, the last Wednesday of 2017. And even though it's the last, I'm excited. Like, I still feel like it's the first in so many ways. And so I gave just a little bit about you. I mean, I have plenty of stories, especially from us working together and different things that we've experienced as well. But tonight it's about you, and I want you to share your testimony with people because I think you're a pretty amazing person, and you struggle more than a lot of people may know, and you've always kept a smile on your face while doing this, and you've always been so positive towards others. So I just want you to go ahead and talk to us tonight and tell us about you. Tell us who William Herbin is. Like, give us that beginning insight that some of us may not know.
Man, where do I begin? First of all, let me go ahead and put it out there. I'm 36. You know, you've been knowing me for a while now, and you know, I come from a great family. I'm the only boy in the family. You know, fortunately, I had both parents in my life. You know, I was raised by both of my parents. You know, good family morals, great family. You know, I love those guys, by the way. But about me, oh golly, let's see, where do I begin? You know, I graduated from Northeast Guilford. Go Rams, by the way. I went on and went to college. I went to Southeastern Academy, and you know, after that, you know, I was getting sworn in to go to the Marines after I got out of college. My mom caught breast cancer, so they put me on delayed leave before I got shipped out. And during that time my mom had breast cancer, I was an advertising manager, and every year they go to New Orleans and give out awards. And when I got to New Orleans, I got shot up. I got robbed and shot up, and it put a big damper on my life. You know, I was never the type to, you know, tote guns and all that stuff. But, you know, after I got shot up, my life really changed. It changed for the worse for me because after I got shot up, it messed with me physically, mentally, and emotionally. You know, I was asking all kinds of questions, you know, why would God allow this to happen to me, you know, and I never did anything, you know, to people. And, you know, I took it to the streets then. You know, I had that I didn't care mentality. But, you know, and I have to say that, you know, God blessed me, you know, because, you know, I could have been dead. I got shot twice. He hit me in the lungs, the liver, the diaphragm, pancreas, large and small intestine. But he blessed me. I can do the same things that I did before I got shot up. And people tell me I'm lucky all the time, and I be like, nah, I'm blessed. I'm not lucky. Um,
Right.
but like, what you say?
No, I just said right. No, I completely
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's the first thing someone will say, "Hey, you lucky, man. You lucky," and it's like, no, if you've been where I was at, like you really know it's not even luck. It's completely a
Right.
whole blessing in itself.
Exactly. So, like I said, I took it to the streets after I got shot up. Started doing a lot of crazy stuff, things that I wouldn't do, robbery and all that stuff. It ended me up in prison. I went to prison. I tried to go back to the Marines before I went to prison, take that back, but they wouldn't accept me anyway because they said I was a liability because of the injuries I sustained or whatever. But anyway, like I said, it cost me to end up in prison. I did like 3.5 years in prison, and I took that prison time, and I grew up in prison a lot. I tried to turn lemons into lemonade, pretty much. So, when I got out of prison, I got blessed by this company. I just seen this ad in the paper. It's talking about they was looking for, people to take care of kids, and I'm like, take care of kids. So, I called it, and they told me to come in for the interview, and they really loved me. They really liked me, and I started dealing with troubled teens, and working with kids with special needs, and then I kept on with it, and then I met you in the setting or whatever, and I was blessed to be able to work with kids, because this is my mentality, this is my thought on it. If I change one, I made a difference. If I help one, I made a difference. So, I got to work with kids, and I always wanted to work with kids, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing to really be able to work with those kids, and as you know, it wasn't always good times. We had hard times, but it was a truly a blessing. I got real close to working with the kids. We're working with the kids and all, and like I said, that's where life led me, and I met you, and it's been on ever since.
Oh yes, most definitely. And it's funny because of course a lot of times we say a lot of the same things, and especially if I could just reach one, or if I could just help one, and really that statement came out of from working with that group that we work with, and it wasn't perfect times. There were some rough times, some emotional times, but I wouldn't change that point in time at all with the things that we got to see, the families we got to experience being with, and as a company, we worked for, because it was really a family environment. And just to back it up though, before you got there, so you were in prison for what? You said 3 years?
3.5 years, yes.
3.5 years. So how did that affect you when you first got in there? I mean, I understand you were like, okay, let me turn lemon into lemonade, but okay, so at this point you hadn't been to prison, if I'm correct. So you go into prison for 3.5 years for the first time. So
yeah.
I mean, how does that? What was your mind like? What was your mindset at?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna even front. I was scared. Scared of being away from my family. I was scared. I'm not gonna even lie. You hear the stories about prison all the time. And when you walk into those doors, there's no getting out. This is not the movie. This is the real world. We ain't digging no tunnels. So I really had to adapt and adjust. The hardest part was being away from my kids. And I'm not gonna lie. I lied to my kids about where I was at the time. Because I was doing work out of town, and I would be out of town working, doing construction work, and they knew I'd be gone sometime. But I lied because my kids, they thought I was super dad, you know, and I didn't want to put that on them, you know, while I was in there. So the hardest part was, you know, just being away from my kids and my family, you know, during Christmas and the holidays and stuff like that. But, you know, like I said, you just had to adapt to your situations. And, you know, like, you know, I'm street savvy and I'm book savvy. So, you know, the combination of those, you know, just helped me get through, I'm blessed. I came in the same way and came out the same way. 10 toes and 10 fingers, no cuts or marks on my face. No, I'm blessed, you know. I am.
That's amazing. Because it's my understanding that sometimes people, we go through things in life, and you know, we change, we transition into who we are going to be. And so, like I said, I understand being in that setting, being there for 3.5 years. It's good that even that physically you were able to come out the same way that you went in.
Right.
But 3.5 years, you were able to mentally, you know, grow up from the things that you dealt with. So, tell me this. While you were in there, and I'm just asking, I want to know, while you were in there, did you feel alone a lot of times?
Oh yeah, of course.
How did that play out?
Of course, you know, there was plenty of times, you know, where I just wanted to go in the corner and ball up somewhere, you know, because you're in there with a lot of different personalities. You know, a lot of people are, you know, it's a lot of different backgrounds in there, and so there's a lot of people that you can relate to, and there's people that you can't relate to, you know, and there was been moments, you know, where I felt I just didn't have nobody, and you know, to get my mindset right, I would do a lot of writing. You know, I love to write, so that's how I cope with a lot of things by writing, you know. But like I said, it was a difficult time in my life, so you know, I had to tough it out. I had to keep my mental right. And, you know, I just, like I said, I wrote a lot, you know. But like I said, I'm blessed, Crystal. I really am, you know. I really am. I'm just.
So, Will, tell me this. What were you, when you wrote, what were you writing? Like, was it poetry? Was it, like, letters? Like.
Poetry, letters.
Okay.
Poetry, letters, just, you know, anything, you know. I had started writing a book, man, but you know, it's still going on. I hadn't finished it yet, you know, because like I said, then when I was in there, I had a lot of time. Now I'm out here, it's just, I don't have a lot of time, but that's definitely a thing that I want to finish. You know, I also have a book of poetry that I'm working on called Life Through My Eyes. It's definitely something major in my life that I want to finish working on. The prison time, it taught me a lot. I've seen a lot of things, you know, and I was around, you know, some good people, you know, that taught me a lot of things, not just about prison life, but in life in general, you know. And that's why I said that, you know, as far as going back with working with the boys, you know, I'm just glad that I had the opportunity, you know, because, you know, that's what you want to do. Our young males today, they don't have a lot of guidance. So that's why I wanted to take the opportunity. When I had the opportunity, I jumped on it to be able to work with those guys, you know, because that's the problem. They don't have any guidance, and they need guidance.
Most definitely, and one thing I can say is I've actually been able to. It's funny because you were one of the first, like I said, the first people I met in that field, and you gave me some training since you were my management staff, and so
right.
Never being having worked in that field. I remember one of the first things you told me, you were just like, you know what, just be real, just be 100%.
Right.
because they could see right through it. And
Right.
I also thought, like, okay, I am real. I keep it 100% at
Yep.
all times. And
Right.
but you went ahead and let me know. And at that point in time, I didn't have no idea about your background. I didn't have too much knowledge of the boys. I was just getting to know and understanding and doing my personal observation and like seeing how this is going to work out. But one of the first things I watched is I saw you do. It's like, okay, this is my job, but this is my life. And so the way you treated them and just opening up and sharing, like, I mean, I know how they would sometimes, you know, like, hey, I know about this and I know about that, and it's like, Mr. Will, do you know? And you were like, yeah, I actually do. That's not what you want. That's not what you think it is. And so, you know, I just remember sitting back and listening to listen to you tell parts of your life to them and sharing it with them, and the look on their face as they sit there and listen, it was kind of like, wow, because what they thought they were doing versus the actuality of what really takes place and happens was two different realities.
Right.
So
Right.
I know last week I had mentioned one of the boys that we both got to work with it's sad to say he lost his life a little while ago. And so, you know, his family and stuff is still in our prayers. And but I remember that kid being one of the ones that we really had conversations with a lot of times.
Yeah.
And he was the main one that would always ask you questions. And it was an honor. It was an honor to be in that role because there was nothing that you couldn't tell them boys or share with them even about your life that if you later on tried to deny, they were like, no, that's not what you said. That's not what we talked about. You said. And so it was good because they made us be accountable for what we put out and how we were in front of them. They watched every single movement that we made. And so meanwhile you're there inside the group home and you management staff, I mean, you know, you work over 100 hours at times.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But you still have to go home to be there to kids. So tell me this. When you came out of prison, just going back, you said you didn't really try to tell you told your kids like, hey, I'm here, hey, I'm there. Did you?
Yeah.
When did you tell them that you actually know I was actually in prison and this is what happened? Like, you know, because they're older now.
Right. My son is 15 now. And my daughter's 13, and I have a baby that's 2. I told them probably like a couple of days after I had got home because when I got out of prison, my grandma was in the hospital, so there was a lot of focus on my grandmother at the time. And I set my kids down. I set both of them down at the time, and you know, and I told them straight up. I said, listen, I've been lying to you guys. And, you know, my son was like, Daddy, what you talking about? You know, and I told him that I was in prison. And the look on their face was like, you lying, Daddy, stop playing, you know. And the first thing that they said was, why? You know. So I broke down and I told them why and what I had done, you know. And the first thing that my daughter said to me, she said, Daddy, don't go back to prison, please. You know, and it touched me. You know, it just made my heart melt. And I made a promise to my kids that I never would go back to prison. You know, I told them I wouldn't put myself in that situation no more. You know, to go back to prison, and I mean that. You know, my kids are very important to me. You know, I go beyond and out for my kids. You know, so that promise is not going to be broken. So you know, I don't like to let my kids down. You know, that's something that I don't like to do, and you know, I'm going to keep my word. And you know, but it was just, you know, kids are so innocent, you know, and they can be so honest and, you know, and like I said, when my daughter asked when she told me that, Daddy, don't go back to prison, you know, like it just touched me, you know. I just felt it all in the inside of me, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this, you know. So like I said, God has been working in my life. He's going to continue to work in my life, you know. It's just been blessing after blessings, you know, and it's been situations, you know, where I've been like, God, I don't know how I'm going to make it, or I don't know how I'm going to do this, or how I'm going to pay this bill, or how am I going to put food on the table. But God has always been there, you know, and, you know, I can sit back and look at those situations now and be like, man, I can't believe I made it. And I did, you know. You know, like I said, being a single father, there's been times when I get off work, had to go get my daughter, my kids from my mom, go home, I'm trying to cook something to eat, my baby in the swing, or, you know, they playing or whatever, my baby crying, I had to call Mom, will you come help me? My mama come help me. You know, I'm a man, I don't have that woman's touch, you know, and she would just calm everything down, you know. So like I said, I'm blessed with a wonderful family, you know. And when I was in prison, you know, my mom held it down for me with my kids. She graduated college, taking care of my kids the whole time. So like I said, I'm blessed in so many ways. And, you know, we as people, we don't really see our blessings, you know. We don't see them until later on, you know. But we be blessed so much, and, you know, we just don't even realize, you know. But people out here, you know, they're going through a struggle, or they may be going through this or going through that. Y'all just know that there's somebody going through a worse situation than you're going through, and God got your back, you know. Like they say, it may rain, but the sun definitely gonna come out, you know. So it's just, I'm a walking testimony. I'm a walking testimony, and the walk isn't over yet, you know.
You most definitely are, and I mean, I can definitely agree with that. The walk is not over as long as there's breath in our body, and we wake up each day. Everything we do, from every, you know, second that we breathe, every movement we make, is all part of our testimony. And our testimony is always meant to be shared, because the bigger picture is our life is not our own, and we're supposed to share. We're supposed to do what you just said by letting someone else know that, hey, you're not alone at all. And so this won't be the first, and this won't be the last. You're not the only one going through it. And a lot of times there are people that are going through worse than us. And I'll be the first to say that I know that in the midst of your own situation, a lot of times mentally inside our head we start saying, nobody understands. Nobody cares.
Yep.
Nobody's getting it. It's me. It's not them. You feel like you're at the bottom, even when you're not. But that's what happens. And so that's what Beast Mode Mindset is always here for and about. Like I said, Beast Mode Mindset is not just a radio. It's not just a radio talk show. We're not here just, you know, talking and chatting it up. But it is a movement, it is a lifestyle, and so, you know, with being on Facebook, which is just one way to reach us right now, it's a community. And I know I've seen you, like, post positive stuff in there. There are a lot of people that we come in, we post, and we share stuff. We're spread out all over the world, but yet and still the common ground is, as long as we're living and breathing and moving, things are happening. And so instead of us getting in our feelings and keeping it to ourselves, we're making sure we go out and share it, or we post it to inspire someone, or say, hey, you know, I don't want you to hit the same speed bump that I hit, so let me give you this, you know, so that way maybe you'll avoid it, and it won't, you know, you don't have to experience that hurt or that pain, or it won't take you as long to get back on track. I know you have 2 girls and you have a son.
Right.
And so your son's a teenager now. So how has it been so far with, you know, with him, like with raising him? Because it's crazy. 2017 is a completely different zone than when we were younger, and the issues are, you know, as a parent, speaking from parent to parent, the issues are always coming up, and I find myself having to pour even more into my kids now than, I remember my parents having it. Not saying that they didn't give me motivation and positivity, they did.
Right.
But just the issues and how the world has changed, different generation, and it seems like with every generation it gets a little bit, the pressure just increases. But, I mean, I'm kind of fine with pressure because, pressure turns coal into diamonds, and so therefore, pressure from amazing things can happen and come.
Right.
But how has that been with your son? Just trying to keep him from making those mistakes, being the single father. I know you have a great support system. With your parents, your sister, she's an awesome individual. Some extended family members as well, and so everybody pulls in to make sure everything is taken care of, and that's what it is.
Right.
Because we're community. We all need to reach out, and we all need to assist each other because it takes more than one to get us to where we need to be. So how has it been with your son and his mindset living in 2017 as a teenager, like right now today, and based upon your background and trying to keep him focused? Is he focused or what's going on?
Oh man, I'm gonna start it off like this right here, Chris. Now, they say each generation gets weaker and wiser. They get weaker to the things they should know and wiser to the things that they shouldn't know. You understand? My son, it's been we've had our ups and downs. Okay, you're definitely right. Today's world that we live in is nothing like what we grew up in or whatever. It's very different. So once again, as a parent, I had to adapt and get hip to things. You know what I'm saying? Because they're talking a new slang, they're doing different things. So I've always been the type of parent to keep my kids up on things. As far as life, drugs, street, whatever. I've always kept them up on things. I talk to them about drugs, and as far as with my son, he's not the street type. He's not into drugs or anything like that. The most that I've had to get on him about was the PlayStation 4. Man, go outside, get off the game. Get off the internet. And that's his biggest issue. When I was 15, I want to be outside. I want to fish. He's a basketball player, loves to play basketball. But if he's not playing basketball, he's on the internet or the PlayStation, and that's what today's society is right now. It's just a bunch of technology. So, I really can't say too much. And I try to keep him, like I said, man, I try to show him how to do things with his hands, try to work on stuff. But the internet is just amazing. I'm telling you, that internet got him. At PlayStation for the games, but other than that, he's a pretty good kid. I can't even lie, he's a pretty good kid, respectable, very mannerly, and we still got more to come. He's 15, it's gonna be more issues, but we'll work through it. We're gonna get through it, So it's been a little roller coaster ride. We had our ups and downs, like I said.
Well, that, like I said, that's completely understandable. But like I said, I did just want to ask because with you being, dad and being older now and being experienced with some things, and I understand too as a parent because I have a son, and for those who don't know, I have a son and I have two girls. So I'm a mom of three, and so what with my a lot younger than yours, but at the same time too. There are still some issues that we start to kind of run into, with the internet and things of that nature.
Right.
And the thing about the internet is there's nothing that says go this way, this is positive, this is good to pay attention to. It's just there. So almost the possibilities are endless. And
Exactly.
so even then we find ourselves having to kind of refocus, like, oh, okay, let's maybe not look at that, or that's not too, you've done that too long. Let's break away. Like, give your mind a break. Give your,
Right.
So this way, like you said, go outside. And so we find ourselves like, hey, go outside, breathe some fresh air, like let your mind hit reset.
Exactly.
Which is an important thing, because just like they get in tune with the internet and things at their age, we as adults a lot of time get in tune to our everyday routine. We get up,
Right.
we go to work, we do what we have to do, and sometimes over time we forget what life is about, and so we start to kind of fall asleep while we're still wide awake and moving
Exactly.
through life as zombies. And then when life happens, that's when we start to kind of fall down. And it's like, oh, okay, so now I'm at this point, like, how am I going to get myself back up? And so, we look for things to try to rejuvenate our mind and motivate us. And so what we're going to do right now is just go ahead and take a break. My favorite song's going to come on, which I know I sent it to you, like it's one of those things that I've sent to you plenty of times too. It's G-Bless Motivation. And,
Right.
We're just going to have a hype session and pull it all the way back up. But when we come back, what we'll talk about is what's next with William Hurban, because there's some good things that you're working on. I can't wait to kind of talk about it and get into it, because I'm teamed up with you. And, it's all families, all over Beast Mode Mindset. So we'll be right back after this.
I'm about that work. 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 Let's go. Not this time, I ain't giving up. No, yeah. Not this time, I ain't giving up. No, yeah. Not this time, I ain't giving up. No, yeah. Not this time, I ain't giving up. No, yeah. Get up out my way. Better get up out my way. Get up out my way. Better get up out my way. Get up out my way. Better get up out my way. Get up out my way. Better get up out my way. What up? What's happening? Okay. What's happening? 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 Let's go. This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me what you waiting on. This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me what you waiting on. Everything in life I'ma go hard with it. 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 Push myself to the limit, no holding back. 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 Hands in the air, yeah, this is my moment. Hands in the air, yeah, this is my moment. Hands in the air, yeah, this is my moment. Hands in the air, yeah, this is my moment. Do damage, we do damage. 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 This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me what you waiting on. This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. I mean what I say and I say what you waiting on. You gotta go get it, don't sit down now. You gotta go get it, don't sit down now. You gotta go get it, don't sit down now. You gotta go get it, don't sit down now. Another level, take it to another level. Another level, take it to it, let's go. You can do 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 it, let's go. You are victorious. I am victorious. 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 Let's go. Yeah. This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me what you waiting on. Yeah. This is pure motivation. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me why you waiting. Tell me what you waiting on. You can do it, no excuses, no more losing. Who you fooling? Keep pursuing. I can see it, See it, no drama. I don't need it, This that hard work season, this that hard work season. This paid for a reason, this paid for a reason. This paid for a reason, this paid for a reason. Blood, sweat, and tears and praying I said it. Blood, sweat, and tears and praying I said it. Almost at the finish, I can smell it, Almost at the finish, I can smell it, Sacrifice made, you can make it, Sacrifice made, you can make it, Confidence is all you need. 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 Yeah.
We're back. And so, Will, are you still with us?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And yeah, so that was G Bless Motivation. One of my favorite songs to listen to when I'm having a down moment, when I'm just, not having a good day. And so I will say this very quick. I had the pleasure of having a conversation with the artist, and he's just excited that his song Motivation, which is really off his first album, is so positive, and that he was touched to hear that it helped me just in everyday life. And so 2018, I can't wait. He'll actually be on, and I know, Will, you'll be back and doing some stuff with us as well, because you're a part of my team. Just like I announced Chris last week, you are a part of my team, which is SWAT, St. Louis Action Team. And so I'm glad to say that. So I get to introduce once again another person. So this is number 2, Christopher Brown last week and William Herman this week. And so I'm just excited because this is something I know on the back end, and so much that we'll be working on and doing, especially 2018, 2019. Because like I said, Beast Mode Mindsets is not going anywhere. We're here to stay. We are living and breathing. It is a community. We're here for each other. So it doesn't matter what state, what city, what country. We can. The beautiful thing about the internet is, long as there's Wi-Fi, long as there's internet, we can always plug in. And so that's one great thing. One great thing and one tool about. So nobody has to be alone. Nobody has to be to feel like that by themselves. And so we're always going to be able to reach out in some way, shape, form, or fashion, even if we're physically not present, to be there for the next person and somebody else. And so before the break, you were talking to us just about your journey, and how, it seemed like things were going really, really great. Life was set to go in one direction. And it seems like God allowed some things to happen in your life, and things took a turn. And so you went to prison for some time, and while you were there, your mindset changed. So, there was a transition. It wasn't just, okay, this is who I am, I'm here. And so it's like, okay, so what's next? So you come out, you get a chance to work in the group home setting and work with at-risk males. And if anybody knows anything about group homes, well, you work with level 3, level 4 type kids, and so that's one of the higher levels. And so there's a lot more that comes with that than some people realize. And
exactly.
That's where our friendship started at. And that opportunity, anytime you have a chance to work with people, especially kids from different backgrounds and different things going on. It's always amazing to see just the beauty and sometimes the beauty in who they are and who they can become as well. And so just like you told me on day one, like, be real, keep it 100%, and that's what I did, and I had to do it, and not just because you told me, but I watched you actually do just that, and so because of that, you know, that planted a seed for me that, okay, just as much as sometimes I want to close off, there was no way when we worked 12-hour shifts or 16-hour shifts that you could literally sit there and be closed off, and it's like, okay, I'm here. This is my job. No, you had to let the guards down. You got emotionally involved because we were beginning to end with those kids and their families, and it was amazing time. And so we were talking about not just those kids, but we ended up talking about, you know, your kids. I know I specifically asked about your son and how his mindset is. And it's pretty cool because, like I said, I can identify with the fact that he's plugged in, he wants to be on the game and online, and then you're like, hey, no, you need to go outside. I need you to kind of, like, breathe life a little bit. Like, go outside, breathe in the plants and the trees and stuff. And so I know your youngest daughter is 2, and you have an older daughter. So how things been going with her? Because I see that she's a really pretty young lady, and it seems, you know, that she definitely, the sky's going to be the limit for your kids regardless. And the sky's the limit for anybody when it comes to kids and opportunities. We just have to be, as the parents and as the adults and the people that have experienced things, we got to be willing to always share and let them in and not get so defensive when they question us or act like we're perfect because now we know how to pull it together, because that's ultimately what happens when we become adults sometimes. We go through so much stuff, we learn to put on the face, and so we can break down at home, and then as soon as we walk out the door, all the chaos gets closed out. We enter a world bigger than the chaos that we have at home, and we just move like clockwork. We move like robots throughout the day, and we're trying to hold it together and keep a good face. But something you said about kids and being innocent. Their innocence allowed them to see us for who we actually are. And a lot of times we aren't able to just keep that faith and with them. And so it kind of pulls the walls down a little bit. But I want to know a little bit more about your daughter, like what she's working on, because if I'm not mistaken, she's kind of active in some things and stuff like that too.
Right.
And I'm asking you about all this because I know this is part of your platform, and so we get to kind of talk about tonight what you're doing next. And so your kids are a part of you and a part of your story, and your testimonies are also a part of your platform with what's coming next for you. So how things with your daughter?
Oh man, now that's a whole different story. My daughter's 13, man, and you know, females are like y'all a different breed, you know. She has all these,
of course we're different, Will. Of course we're different.
I know. And you know, as a teenager, you know, she has all these emotions and all these feelings that she never felt before, and you know, I talk to her about these boys. You know how these little boys is. You know, they'll play these little games. You know, and I try to keep on point. You know, as far as these little boys go and stuff. And you know, she's an AB honor roll student. You know, she already knows where she wants to go to college. She wants to be a veterinarian. She didn't want to be a veterinarian since she was probably like 6 or 7 years old. You know, she loved animals. You know, and you know, she's like I said, I'm blessed with great kids. You know, she's a great girl. I mean, she really is. She's beautiful. She's bright. So I just try to keep her focused on school. You know, and you know, she's come to me and she's, you know, talking. I always let her know y'all talk to me. Y'all can talk to me about anything. You know, I might talk a little junk, but you can still come and talk to me about anything. And, you know, and they come and talk to me, you know. And she came and talked to me. Daddy, she's like, Daddy, can, you know, I have a boyfriend. I like this guy. And I'd be like, just let me think about it. Or I try to change the subject, you know. But, you know, I just try to tell her to focus on her school. You know, the little boyfriends and stuff is going to come, and, you know, and she asked me, well, why? You know, and I told her she's not ready for heartbreak, you know, and heartbreak at the early age like that could really mess a little kid up, you know, as far as their school goes, you know. But other than that, you know, she's a good girl. She really is.
That's awesome, and what it sounds like is she's Daddy's little girl, and so Daddy's like, no, hey, we don't need no outside influence. It's just me.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
she is a beautiful young lady, and I definitely see her growing up to just do amazing things. You know, she has an awesome dad, awesome support system. Where does she want to go to college at? I'm just interested to know.
Oh, she wants to go to Carolina. That's where she wants to go to college.
Well, that's awesome, because we're going to be pushing her. Beast Mode Mindset's not going anywhere, so we're going to be pushing her all the way to, UNC Chapel Hill?
No doubt.
Yes, that's, yes. I'm excited about that. I didn't go to Chapel Hill. I went to Central. But it's okay. Everybody's not going to go to Central. I get that. I understand that. But, yeah, so you have the older two, and then there's the gap, and you have the 2-year-old, and it's funny because it's even though they're siblings, there's that gap. And then so what the world is changing every day. And so when she hits their age bracket, that's almost going to seem... They may be in the position of you when it comes to talking to her, like, oh my God,
right.
Like, I don't know, like, it's funny, every generation it changes up, and so I love the fact that when you got out of prison, you sat down with them and you told them your story. I love the fact that you're trying to give them those different perspectives in life, and that way they can kind of see the bigger picture without necessarily always having to experience things the hard way. So, you know, hats off to you for just, you know, for being an awesome dad. And when I say awesome, I mean that in the way of you're willing to open up. Because sometimes people, we ourselves as people, we confuse awesome and good and great with being perfect, or at least what we think perfect is. And the way I'm trying to set up, or how I look at things, is I always say, no, you can't be perfect, but you can be perfectly imperfect, just meaning that I'm so messed up that at the end of the day, I gotta let it all out. And so, you know, that's how you become perfectly imperfect, because you've been through so much, and there's no way to live on this earth and not go through not one thing at all. It's not possible. And so, you're working on something that's really, really great. I'm gonna let you go ahead and bring it up and address it, because I know it's your baby. I know you're completely passionate. I'm excited about it because I get to work along with you. And so I know there's so many things that we're doing in reference to what you're getting ready to talk about. But we're all connected. So no matter what it's called and what we're doing individually, this is what we're doing is, you know, changing the mindset. We're all about trying to see the bigger picture. And so what you're working on deals with mindsets inside the home specifically. And
Right.
And for me, that's the biggest place, because if you can't do it at home, and this is something my grandmother said, and somebody else's grandma might have said it too, but if you can't, it starts at home. So if you can't do it at home, then it's not going to work anywhere else. And so
That's right.
that applies to so many things in life, as far as giving respect, being responsible. If you can't keep up with the keys to the house, then don't worry about managing $1 million accounts for somebody else. So tell us about what you're working on.
What I'm working on right now is called DWC of America, and it stands for Dads Who Care of America. What I'm focusing on is, like I said earlier, I was blessed to be raised by both parents. I was in a double-parent home. My dad's always been in my life. And, like I said, kids don't have any guidance, okay? That's the thing. And parenting doesn't come with a handbook, okay? I did a lot of great things as a parent. I did a lot of bad things as a parent. So that's what DWC is for. It's basically for single-parent homes. I'm trying to get the family values and the family morals back inside of single-parent homes. Just because you're a single parent doesn't mean that you can't have those family morals and family values inside the home. With just little things like sitting down with your kids and eating dinner with them, maybe 2 or 3 times out the week. Simple things like ask them how their day goes, how their day was, because we as adults, like you said, we get into their routine. We go to work, we come home, we pick the kids up from school, we cook, we clean, and we get so caught up, we don't even take the time out to say simple things. Well, how was your day today? What did you learn in school? And things like that is very important, And sometimes, a kid won't open up. They're just waiting for you to ask them, And then when you ask them, oh, man, they're going in, But so DWC is for parents out there who may be going through something with their children or their child, and they don't know where to turn to. Us as men, we have an ego problem. We don't like to ask nobody for help or whatnot, And I know I'm not the only single father out there, but if you're having a problem or in a situation with your child, you can reach out to people who's been in that situation, people who can give you answers, people who can help you with your problem, DWC of America this is a blessing. It was placed on my heart at work. I was at work one night, and the Lord just put it on my heart, and I immediately started just writing ideas down, just writing it down, But it's not, like I said, it's not just for single fathers. It's for single mothers, too, where you can get family counseling. The kids can have counseling. And like I said, y'all go check out the website. Go to Facebook, just type in Dads Who Care of America, and you can go see what it's about. But like I said, our main focus is strengthening the family, and giving those kids guidance, because, in a lot of single-parent homes, whether it's mother or father, those kids need that other piece, they really do. And, some people say that, they was in a single-parent home and it doesn't affect. It does affect. If you have one missing, it can affect that child, growing up, because I've seen it in my own children, So that's the thing that I want to, I want to help people. I want to help those parents who, they might be in a situation where they got to pay this bill or put food on the table, and I don't think they should be in that kind of situation, Then maybe they can reach out to DWC of America, and, we can help them, Like I said, it's just simple things like giving advice, My kid might be acting out in school. What do I do? We can give you answers. We can help you with that, And it's going to be a big thing. DWC, it's household name. It's going to be a big thing.
Yes, I definitely see big things for DWC. Like I said, I'm glad to, just be on the journey with you. Because there are a lot of things that we both can identify with as far as parenting and raising kids. And,
Right.
And, you know, so like I said, it doesn't matter that it's DWC or that it's Beast Mode Mindsets of Faith. Because really, when it comes, if anybody knows you or they've ever met you face to face, it's always, okay, let's get it, let's go. Like, you know, we all the way out. It's beast mode, and that's just, and you know, it's just, yes, you have a high level of energy. You keep high expectations, and I love to see that how you do that with the kids and the expectations of everything else that you're working on as well. So. I know the sky's the limit. And like I said, of course, I'm with you. You have my support 100%, and I know there's other support out there as well. And so, we're getting closer to the end of the show. And normally I don't call it out like that, but it's 2017. It's the last Wednesday of the year. It's the last show for Beast Mode Mindsets for 2017, and so you know, like, I'm excited. Next time I get on, it's going to be January. It's going to be 2018, and so Will be back, and in 2018 with us, and it'll be nice to sit down and talk about some things that we've done at that point, and so. If I have it correct, like you said, so the way to reach DWC, I know there's a Facebook page, Dads Who Care of America on Facebook, and then and on there's some contact information, and then you're personally available, William Herbin. You're personally available at William Herbin on Facebook as well, and so. 2018 is going to be an awesome year. And so, Will, I just want to thank you once again for being on here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and say to our other guest from last week that's on the team with us, that we're all working on so much, but we're still a brotherhood and sisterhood, so I'm glad to have you guys a part of everything. So Christopher Brown, and big thanks to our other two guests on Beast Mode Mindsets 2017. December was our first month, and our first guest was Derek Martin, and he's an awesome young man, Grown with D. Follow him on Facebook, but you can go to www.growingwithd.com. We can always listen back in. We have some awesome people that are always taking care of us. The lovely Nakia Evans, who is this is her network, Rough Life Radio Network, and the awesome Alan, who makes everything completely possible. And so 2017 has been a great year for Beast Mode Mindsets of Faith. December was our month to kickstart and just say hello to the world on a bigger platform of, you know, we're all about motivation. We're here. And so December was our motivation month. It was all about people telling their stories. And we had one of our other amazing stories, Mr. Matthew Prince King, which we go back to Central, and he was a guest as well. So thank you to all of the guests. 2017, 2018 is going to be an awesome year. Beast Mode Mindset, we're switching it up next month. So it's all about business. Let's talk about business. And so we told our story in December. We ended 2017 with a good positive note on how things have been great. And so in January, we're let's get it, let's go, Beast Mode. And let's talk about business. Let's start planting some seeds, some financial seeds in our life as young adults and millennials, and get our mind right so we can get the bank account right and put our faith into action and let it grow. So we'll have some awesome guests in 2018 sharing their story, sharing insights on how to be young entrepreneurs, some mistakes that we can look out for as well. But they'll also still be sharing their story, because this is not over. We're not going anywhere. So thank you once again, everybody. I hope everyone has a good night. Happy New Year. See you in 2018. And as always, Will, do you want to let's go Beast Mode us out?
Yo, let's get it. Beast Mode.
Have a great night.